listen, share, and experience the creativity that is you. Now, here is the host of the Inspired Choices Show, business optimization expert, Christine McIver.
Good afternoon, good evening, good morning. Hello, my friends. How are you doing? It is so wonderful to be here with you today. And right now, it is Wednesday, February the 19th, 2025. It's a wild, wild world that we live in. And there's so many things going on. And I'm really grateful that you've taken the time to just stop and spend some of that time with me. So, tonight we're talking all about business optimization. And I'm asking some questions about if you have your business optimized for 2025. Now, we're closing in on the end of the second month. And I find that this is actually a perfect time to have this conversation. Because don't we, at the beginning of the year, we're scrambling. We're in celebration, we're hurrying near the end of the year to get a whole bunch of projects done, or we're in the midst of the holidays, or perhaps we're going away on vacation. And it always seems to me like it's a very stressful time, it's an overwhelming time. And oftentimes, entrepreneurs do not take or have the time to be able to sit back and really do an evaluation in the way that they need to optimize everything for their year. So that's what we're going to be doing tonight. Before we jump into it, let me just tell you a little bit about who I am. So I am a business optimization expert. I work with entrepreneurs, business owners, solopreneurs to really look at what's going on in their business, where the gaps are, what needs to be put in place, how we can make things easier, put systems into place. And then once we have all of that in place, which is your foundation, then we look at how can we elevate you? How can we really optimize your exposure? How can we optimize what you're doing to increase what it is your desire to be creating, not only in your business, but also in your life, because the two of them really aren't separated. Your business is part of your life and your life impacts your business. So we need to look at both of those at the same time. I absolutely love working with business owners to show them more of the possibilities and to give them some relief and to lower their anxiety and stress around their business. To me, business is a pleasure and it should be pleasurable. And if you're not having pleasure, if you're not having fun, if you're not enjoying aspects of your business, even in the midst of perhaps a heavy load, then that's when you want to have someone to come in and take a set of fresh eyes to look at everything that you've got going on in your business. So that's what I do. And if you'd like to know more, please feel free to send me an email, Christine at christinemciver.com. Very easy. Christine is spelled Christine, and McIver is MCIVER. Wherever you're listening, whether you're listening live, wherever you're listening from in the episode, in a replay, my contact information will be there for you. So reach out. Let's have a conversation. Let's see if there is something that I can do to support you in your business and support you with making 2025 even better than it has been in previous years. Okay, let's jump in to tonight's show. I'm just going to read for you the show notes that we put together so you really get a sense of where we're going to go tonight. And if you have any questions, you can certainly submit them wherever you're listening. Or if you're listening live, come on over to inspiredchoicesnetwork.com/chat room and you can join us live and ask your questions during the show. So, are you keeping up with all the changes in the landscape of your business? To succeed in business, you must learn to optimize your operations, your tasks, and your systems. In this episode, I'm going to break down how to future-proof your business for 2025 with practical and personal strategies. We're going to cover topics like streamlining your workflows, refining your customer experience, improving efficiencies, automations, financial readiness, as well as developing resilience for yourself and for your team, and so much more. So you're going to walk away with some actionable roadmap steps to refine your business strategy and elevate your personal leadership skills. Let's do that. Let's really refine things. I have learned so many things in being in business over the years that this is such an important piece. I've said it many, many times. We have to, as business owners, we have to slow down to speed up. There are so many things distracting us in the world. There are so many things that are going on. You're not working in your business and then people just come into your business. We are going out. We're distracting ourselves with what's going on online out in the world, as well as what's going on outside of our business operations. And it's very easy for us to get pulled in to other people's worlds. Very, very easy for us to get pulled into the shoulds. I should be doing that. I'm seeing what that person's doing. I should be doing this. I should be doing that. The biggest thing that you should be doing is taking care of you and taking care of your business. Being online is great. Interacting with your online community is fabulous. Doing that consistently is great. But if it's pulling you from accomplishing the things that you need to be accomplishing in order to hit the things that you desire, then that's a challenge, right? That's a real, real challenge. And I'm saying all this with the understanding that you don't have to be working extremely long hours. Now, I'm not going to lie, there are times when you'll have a project that will really pull on you to finish something. I've been working on a project this week, and so I've been putting in longer hours. That's not my norm anymore, though. That is occasionally. And if that's your norm consistently, that's where having a separate set of eyes, that's where getting support to help you reevaluate what you're doing is essential. And the reason I say that is because if you are tapping out your energy day after day after day, you are, first of all, statistics, there's all sorts of statistics out there that prove that the more we go in excess of 45 to 50 hours, we actually get a diminishing return. So, in other words, if you're putting in 50, 60 hours, 70, 80 hours a week, which I have done, you become less and less effective. You're actually begin to make mistakes. You're going to miss details. And what actually starts to happen is because you are not as fully present, because your body is needing to rejuvenate, your body is needing for you to take care of it, it needs to recover. What also needs to occur is you need to be able to spend time in your intuition. You need to be able to spend time connecting in with yourself and connecting in with your body. And if you're running on empty continuously, you're not going to have access to the information and the awareness that is here for you, the information and awareness that is going to help to guide you. And, when something's going on that you have access to, you are the most important resource in your business. So think of it like this. If you have a piece of machinery, and I've talked about my dad many times, he had his own business and he had trucks and he had backhoes. Those were the main things that he used in his business, the large pieces of machinery. I remember seeing him working on those machines again and again and again because they needed to be in top shape. Can you say that each and every day that the main resource in your business, when you come to your business each and every day, can you say that you are in an optimal space? That you are calm, you're present, you're in tune with yourself, you're rested, you're well fed, you've taken care of, you've done whatever it is, whether it's meditation, moving your body, enjoying some pleasure in your life. Can you say that you bring that energy to your business each day? Or are you running as fast as you can to try to accomplish things? That's actually one of the biggest pieces is in your business, you need to be optimized. It's such a crucial piece. And many of us, myself included, had to get to the point where we were so incredibly exhausted. I was incredibly exhausted a number of times that if I didn't listen, If I absolutely did not slow down and make a significant change in how I was operating in my life with my business, I wasn't going to be around. I was burning myself out. I was getting very edgy with everything that was going on, and it it actually reflected in the business. It reflected in the finances. It will reflect in every single thing that's going on. So if you're listening right now and you're working really, really hard, can you just ask yourself some questions like, have I taken care of me today? Have I tapped into me? Have I optimized myself in order to help optimize my business for 2025? That needs to be number one. Absolutely, positively, that needs to be number one. That needs to be your daily strategy to take care of you and whatever it is with you personally, physically, mentally, emotionally, in your personal development, whatever it is that is lacking, whatever it is that needs additional support, that has to be a priority each and every day. And I can tell you, when you start to make that a priority, things will eventually get much easier. If you are a really deep worker, if you are quote unquote a really hard worker, and I say that with quotations because we've been given so much accolades for working hard. How about we start working smart? How about we start working effectively? I'm an effective worker. I'm a smart worker. Let's reward that because you working hard may be just being really, really hard on your body. That will be something I want to encourage you to do for sure, starting now, right today, and implement that every single solitary day. The next thing I want to talk to you about is really about strategic planning. And strategic planning in your business has several layers. The most important outer layers is both a macro strategy plan and a micro strategy plan. And this is where it doesn't matter how long you've been in business, these steps are really important. We need to have a macro view on what we want to accomplish within a time period. I would say, and because we're talking about 2025, let's develop a macro plan for your business for 2025. Let's get a real look at some of the bigger items that you would like to accomplish. What would you like to what would you like to see really fulfilled throughout 2025 that you can say, okay, I really hit those markers and it showed in the way that I've gotten exposure in my business, or it showed in the number of clientele, it showed in my finances. If you were to increase, and I'm going to give you a reasonable number, if you were to increase whatever it is that you are marking, whatever it is you're tracking, if you were to increase that by 20% year over year, you would be building your business up stronger and stronger. Many people that I talk to, I will, when I'm doing a strategic planning with them, I will ask them, what would you like to make this year? And they will give me a really large number, and that's fantastic. And then I will ask them, what did you make last year? Do you know, more often than not, that number is well in excess of 50%? And anything absolutely can be done. But I'm going to challenge most people and say, if you are going well over 20 to 30% over last year, you're going to set yourself up for failure. That is going to have an effect on you emotionally, and it's going to really drain you when you look at, oh, look, I failed, or I didn't accomplish that, or I didn't hit that number. I'm all about stretching yourself, but also being kind and realistic. Let's build up not only your business, but build up your fortitude, build up your belief in yourself. Let's put something realistic in place that stretches you a bit, but that's realistic so you can really start to grow and feel like you are accomplishing something. This is extremely, extremely important. So that's a macro view we want to look at. I'm going to get into the specifics of that after we return from our break. We're just going to go for a quick break. Don't go away. I've got a long list of things that I want to go through. And of course, again, if you would like to join us, come on over to inspiredchoicesnetwork.com/chat room, or you can certainly send me an email, Christine@ChristineMcIver.com. All right, my friends, you're listening to Inspired Choices. I'm your host, Christine McIver, on the Inspired Choices Network, our home platform. Tonight, is your business optimized for 2025? We'll be right back.
Many of us make choices based on our past experiences or based on what others believe. What would our lives be like if we made our choices based on what we desire for our futures? When you join the Inspired Choices show with business optimization expert Christine McIver, you'll be provoked to look at what is true and what you know, but may not choose, that requires your attention. Christine does not hold back. She brings all her expertise to every show. Are you ready to create and live the life you truly desire? Listen for Inspired Choices every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 7 p.m. Central, 6 p.m. Mountain, and 5 p.m. Pacific on InspiredChoicesNetwork.com.
Are you a subject matter expert? Are you here to share your expertise with an audience waiting to hear from you in only the way you can deliver? Are you ready to have your voice amplified across the airwaves? Inspired Choices Network has a global radio platform streaming to millions of people across the world. Professionally produced and supported by an accomplished team every step of the way, you can broadcast from anywhere in the world, knowing your voice matters, and we ensure it is delivered with ease and efficiency. Eager to hear your message, the world awaits. Contact us today to become an Inspired Choices Network radio host. Email becomeahost@inspiredchoicesnetwork.com.
This is the Inspired Choices Show with business optimization expert Christine McIver. To participate in the program, join our live studio audience in our chat room at inspiredchoicesnetwork.com. You can also make the choice to ask or comment by email by sending to Christine@inspiredchoices.ca. Now, back to the program.
Okay, thank you so much for being here. You know, in the first segment of the show, we went over talking about really taking care of yourself, because you are the most important resource, and planning out how you're going to take care of yourself and holding yourself accountable to that. When you are doing that, you won't be at the effect of being forced to by having had your health compromised. You know, there was a time when I was working probably about 14 hours a day nonstop for weeks on end. And at the end of that, I was so exhausted. A couple weeks following that, when I rested up, I got shingles. And shingles is completely derived from stress, putting stress on the body, putting stress on your nervous system. Well, when you're working like that, of course, your nervous system is going to be compromised. Don't do that. Don't do that to yourself. Be kind to yourself. If you want to build a strong business, it begins with building and taking care of you. A daily routine of loving your body and taking care of your body is one of the kindest things anybody can do. A lot of us, a lot of entrepreneurs think, I got to work harder. I got to work faster. I got to catch up. I got to catch up. I got to catch up. And we push ourselves to the point, really to the edge, to the brink. I've seen a lot of business owners do this, and it's so unkind. And teaching us that the value is being called a hard worker is the wrong message we want to be sending to ourselves and to the people out there that are starting out in business. So it's not that I don't think you need to be really planning and putting proper things in place, but taking care of yourself and working smart is critical. Okay, let's get into some more of the items that I really want to cover tonight. So I was talking about really having a micro view of your business and what you want to accomplish. So if you were to look right now at your business and you were to say, you know what, within 12 months, there's 3 things that I would like to accomplish from a macro view. right? I would like to have a 20% increase in revenue. Okay. And I would like to have a 20% increase in profit, because remember, those two are not the same. Taking in more revenue, do you have your systems in place that you're actually keeping another 20% of profit? That could be one of your top threes. Another one of your top threes might be to have a resource of services, a list of services, or a lot of people want to have a list of items that people can purchase in their store, so that's something what we call an evergreen product. Do you have evergreen products, or are you the only product that people can purchase, i.e. your time? Do you want to have a list of those items? Now, yeah, you can crank out short little things, little PDFs and so on, but is it part of your strategy? Is this what you want to be known for? Is this the direction you want to take your business, so that you're building up relationships with your customers, with your prospective long-term clients? You know, I was in business, a skincare business, in my early 20s, and we really talked a lot about the energy we put in to get a client, and then how much energy that takes and how little energy it takes to keep a client, to keep a customer. Creating that relationship, nurturing those relationships, and having people want to continually connect with us and really work with us. That's the key to having a sustainable business, when you have those relationships that you have developed. If you don't have customer relationships developed today, or maybe they're very few, that's okay. But what you want to do is have a strategy in place, so that you are doing that over the next 12 months, 8 months, 10 months, whatever it is. You want to start to put things in place so that you're not exhausted and you're not pushing at your customers. When you have a strategy and you've had time to think about what it is that you want to provide, what it is that the opportunities you want to give people when they work with you or they are purchasing from you, you want it to be a strategy. I've done it before where I've made something really fast and I've put it out there, and then later I went, well, that didn't really match what it is that I've wanted to do. So it's sitting down, and here's one of the biggest things, the next thing that I want you to do is I want you to take an inventory. Take an inventory of all of your resources, all of your products, all of your services that you provide to your clientele. Take a full inventory of that. Maybe you have a number of different items you've created. Maybe you've got video series or courses, or you want to have a course, but you've got little pieces towards it. What I find is a lot of us are running around trying to do all of these things. We're creating, and we're tired, but we're not actually having these things connect. And this is where you want to optimize what you've done. Bring those resources in. Do they still make sense? Do they still match what you want to be doing? And then how can you utilize those pieces, those items that you've created, and how can they become part of the puzzle in your bigger strategy plan? So absolutely, you want to take an inventory of all that you have created. Do a complete inventory so you're getting a full picture of where you are at with your creations in your business. Lay it all out, and put it, every single solitary thing out there, and so that you can get a visual on it, so you can start to move the pieces around. There's different programs called mind maps. Think of it just like laying everything down on the floor, and like that would go with that, and that would go with that, and whatever it is, whether you do it on the computer or you do it on paper on your table, or some people like to do it on whiteboards or even stickies. I've seen people that have tons of stickies on their wall and it makes sense to them. So that's a map. That's a map of where everything goes and the journey that each of the pieces are going to take within the structure of your strategy. But until you have all of your inventory laid out, you can't really calmly, confidently create your strategy. Because in the back of your mind, in the back of most people's minds, is like, well, I've done that. Well, I think I have that somewhere. Well, that's not, we're frustrated. And I find that a lot of people in their business, they have a lot of things that they've kind of shoved into a closet and they've forgotten about it, or they don't know where it is, or they don't know how to utilize it. Let's pull everything out. Let's lay it all out, get a really good view on it. And then that's where we can start to look at what are the gaps, or maybe there's something that you've created that no longer makes sense. So put that to rest, put that away, say, okay, that was me then. That doesn't match where I want to go now. And so, with those top three things that you want to accomplish, you keep that in mind. Okay, these are the things that I want to accomplish. So, let's take a 20% increase in your revenue and in your profit. Like, let's keep that in mind. So, you start to look at your services. You start to look at the items that you're selling, lay those all out, start to take a financial look at this. So, have you looked at how many of that product you sold last year? Okay. How many services of each of those particular items did you sell in the last year? How many of those services do you still want to be doing? How many of those products do you still want to be selling and promoting? Take a real good look at that. It's better to clean the slate and have a few items that you're really going to focus in on, as opposed to running in six directions. This is where you can honestly optimize your time, optimize your marketing, optimize your focus, and optimize your area of expertise. That is one of the biggest things that people need to pay attention to, is where am I going to put my focus? Now, when I first went into coaching, and one of the things that, they taught us at coaching, or tried to teach me anyways, and you've heard it a lot of times, is you need to niche down. I agree with that to a point. I agree with it to a point in that there needs to be an area of focus. You as an entrepreneur are always growing, you're always evolving. You're tapping into more and more and more of your own brilliance. You're tapping into more and more of your own expertise. You're developing your expertise as you go along. What you are an expert in is going to also evolve. So if you niche down too much in one area, you're going to hold yourself back from receiving new possibilities. If you tap into your intuition, if you're tapping into developing yourself, if you've niched down too much, it's a lot for you to try to expand that. And that's where I suggest that you look at an area that you're going to focus on, or maybe there's two or three things in your area of expertise that you're going to bring to the table. That's what's really, really important. And understand that that's going to develop over time. That's okay. So you want to really get an idea of the direction you're going in. You want to take an inventory, right? And you want to take care of yourself. So those are the first really, really important pieces. When we're looking at what we want to accomplish, and we're going to talk about a 20% increase, we want to look at our products, we want to look at our services, and then we want to look at, okay, that product, that service that I'm providing, is there a more efficient way that I can be providing that? Is that accessible? Is it easily accessible? How much time does that item take? How much time does that item take for me to develop? How much time does that item take for me to actually work that service? Many people are very, very comfortable doing one-on-ones. Let's say you're a coach. Many people are comfortable doing one-on-ones. I love doing one-on-ones with individuals. I've been doing that for 15 years in my business. And I can tell you that most of us will not earn a living wage doing one-on-one coaching. That requires an exorbitant amount of energy. I was talking to a colleague the other day who had done, I think it was 3 or 4 one-on-one coaching sessions in a day. And they shared with me, like, that took a lot of energy. It does. When we're working one-on-one with others, it does take a lot of our energy, and it takes a lot of our pardon me, our focus. So that's something you want to look at is, okay, so physically I may only be on the phone with them for 45 minutes or an hour, but what it takes out of me after the fact is I can't do 8 hours, 10 hours straight of that to make the living wage or to make the profit that I'm desiring. So in addition to looking at whether you like doing it, look at what the investment is, the investment of your time, because that's very, very crucial. Does it make sense to have an expectation for you to be doing 20% more one-on-one coaching in order to bring that revenue in? Does that make sense for you? Does that make sense on your energy level? Does that make sense that you could, in fact, attract 20% more of clientele for that particular service? Do you have the time and the resources to do the PR, the marketing, the networking, the connecting with individuals, the one-on-one conversations, just letting people know what it is that you do? Do you have that energy resource? Do you have that time? Do you have those connections that you can be doing that in order to create that 20%? Now, of course you can, but how much is that going to take out of you, and how much time do you need to invest to build that up? To go from 0 to 20% increase, that's going to take a lot of resource, and that may not be feasible. So maybe that's part of your plan, but maybe it's not the whole plan that's really going to change things for you. So those are some other big things that you want to look at to optimize what it is that you're doing and what it is that your business is going to be needing from you. So we're up to our second break. When we get back, I'm going to dive into more practical business steps and strategies to optimize your business for 2025. And I hope that so far this isn't overwhelming you and you're starting to take this in and see how these pieces can really support you with your business goals in 2025. And by the way, you don't always have to be wanting to grow. You could be wanting to simplify as well. So we'll get into some of that when we get back. You're listening to Inspired Choices. I'm your host, Christine McIver. We're on the Inspired Choices Network. We'll be right back.
Many of us make choices based on our past experiences or based on what others believe. What would our lives be like if we made our choices based on what we desire for our futures? When you join the Inspired Choices show with business optimization expert Christine McIver, you'll be provoked to look at what is true and what you know, but may not choose, that requires your attention. Christine does not hold back. She brings all her expertise to every show. Are you ready to create and live the life you truly desire? Listen for Inspired Choices every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 7 p.m. Central, 6 p.m. Mountain, and 5 p.m. Pacific on InspiredChoicesNetwork.com.
How wonderful would it be to carry your favorite Inspired Choices Network host with you throughout your day? Well, now you can. Inspired Choices Network now has its very own mobile app. Our free app offers live streaming shows, along with thousands of podcasts and TV episodes. Our shows cover a wide variety of topics. Whether you're waking up with us, carrying us through the day, and taking us to bed with you, we're always here for you to enjoy. We're easy to find. Just search for Inspired Choices Network in the Apple App Store or Google Play Store.
This is the Inspired Choices Show with business optimization expert Christine McIver. To participate in the program, join our live studio audience in our chat room at InspiredChoicesNetwork.com. You can also make the choice to ask or comment by email by sending to Christine at InspiredChoices.ca. Now, back to the program.
Oh, welcome back, my friends. Thank you so much for being here tonight. This is one of my favorite topics, is really talking about how to optimize and what we need to be doing as entrepreneurs to take care of us and to take care of our business. Imagine what it's going to feel like to be very organized, to have a real plan that you're going to follow, and you're going to be able to look at, and this is one of my favorite things, when you have a strategy, when you've got a real strategic plan in place for your business and for you, that when you are seeing what other people are doing, when you're seeing what the offers are, it's very, very easy for you to go, that actually wouldn't work with my plan for this year. And that may help you to be a very quick no, or it may be able to help you be a very quick maybe next year, and put it on the list of a possibility once you've done your strategy plan. So many people are looking outside of themselves. They're looking what other people are doing and go, oh yeah, I'd like to do that. I'd like to do that. I'd like to do that. It's really this pull to follow all the bouncing balls, to follow all the really cool things that are being created in the world. And there's fabulous people that I listen to and I watch, and they're amazing. And does that make sense for me this year? Does that make sense for me? Is that actually going to help me, or is that actually going to distract me from my plan? And if you can't say yes or no to that, then you don't know your plan, or you don't have your plan in place. And that's what's so critical, is if you're going to succeed, you're going to do that when you have a plan. If you don't have a plan, no matter how detailed it is or not, but you have a plan and you know what you're focusing on each and every month, that's going to help you to get to that extra 20%. That's going to help you to get that extra exposure. So we definitely want to have a plan in place. Okay, some of the things that you want to do, first of all, I say first of all a lot, but we've already gone over some of the first things that you want to do. One of the big pieces that can be exhausting and frustrating is to look at your time. If you've not done in the last year or two a time tracking, I strongly encourage you to do a time tracking. I'll tell you how to do one very, very simply. What you want to do is down the left-hand side of an Excel spreadsheet, you want to put your tasks. Include telephones, calls, include text messaging, include emails, include social media. Include all of your tasks as well as those things that you're doing that you believe are part of your business operations. Okay. Across the top, you want to put your time in 20-minute segments. Put it across the top in 20-minute segments. Have it off to the side, whether it's a piece of paper or you have the Excel spreadsheet up on your computer, and focus in 20-minute increments. And watch. All you have to do is just check or just put a 1 in that box. Probably putting a 1 in that box will be easy to add that up. At the end of each day, you add up how many ones you have across for each and every one of your tasks. You multiply each of those ones by 20, and then you divide it by 60, giving you the number of hours and minutes that you have actually invested in each of those tasks that day. You do this every day for at least 5 days in a row. I would strongly encourage you to look at maybe doing that for 2 weeks, because the first week when you're doing it, it can be frustrating and you might forget about it. You want to kind of get into that habit. Do it for at least 2 weeks. And without judgment, look at where you're spending your time. Give yourself an honest view on what you are doing. There are lots of things that can assist you with managing your time, but understanding your behavior is most critical. The tools that they have to help with managing is only as effective if you understand your own behavior. If you understand that you are easily distracted, if you understand that whenever a notification comes up, I've just upgraded this is just an example. I've just upgraded my computer and to a new iOS system. And it right now has notifications coming in from different platforms on my desktop. And it's pulling my attention. And I'm going to turn that off. It's kind of fun to see that. And it's also distracting. So that is something that maybe you want to look at, turning that off. What notifications are you receiving? Do you have your sound on your phone throughout the day? That is something that I've turned off. Most days I don't have the sound on my phone, and then I will even I'll turn the phone upside down so I'm not seeing the notifications flashing. If you can keep yourself focused on a task for 20 minutes and then you need to maybe look at something else in 20 minutes and so on, that you're going to accomplish so much more without those distractions. Another great tool is to only look at your emails periodically. Some people will say, I check my emails twice a day. And if that works for your business and the way that people communicate with you, way customers communicate with you, that's great. Really, though, you need to see your behavior so that you can optimize your time. Because you being the valuable resource, if you don't have the time to accomplish your tasks and you're allowing those distractions to pull you, you are both the resource and you're the challenge in the operations. So you need to be looking at your efficiencies of your time. The next thing you want to do is you want to develop systems in your business. And I'm sure you've heard before standard operating procedures. Look at how you are setting up your systems. What do you do the same task at the same time every day, every week? Do you allocate all of the certain, do you group your tasks together, maybe creating your marketing plan? Do you do that weekly? Do you look at what you're going to be promoting out each day? What time of the day you're going to be doing that? Having that system in place is going to give you so much space, and it's also going to give you the confidence in knowing that you've accomplished that task. It's going to give you the ability to say, I know that's taken care of. I don't need to worry about that. I did that on this day. I have a plan when I'm doing each of these things. That's part of your strategic plan, is looking at how you're doing your marketing, how often you're doing it, and when you are doing it. When you have your standard operating procedures in place for all of your tasks, it makes you able to evaluate if those operate the way that you're doing that task, if that's most efficient. Those are things that you should be evaluating at least yearly and looking at the efficiencies. Maybe there's new tools that have come in that are going to support you this year to make it even more efficient. Maybe a task that you've been doing no longer makes sense. Take that off the books and stop being distracted by it. Really reviewing those operating procedures and having those systems in place is going to streamline time allocation, time tasks for you. When you can streamline something, you're going to lower your anxiety and you're going to increase your efficiencies. When you increase your efficiencies, that's where you're going to be able to maximize what it is that you are targeting each and every day, each and every week, every month, and throughout the year. So you want to look to get your systems in place. And is there anything that you can automate? Are you using AI tools that are going to support you in automation? I support that. Absolutely. I want to caution you to use AI to be creative. Develop you and your business, and then use that as a tool to support that, not to create that immediately. Another really important thing is what's the security of your business? What kind of security do you have in place? Have you optimized it? Do you have security awareness, especially cybersecurity awareness? Are you utilizing strong passwords? Do you use the same password for everything? You know, I did that when I started in business a long time ago because, hey, it's easy to remember. Bad task to do. I went through and I updated all of my passwords. I changed them. I have a tracking document that I have all my passwords on. Maybe you use LastPass. Maybe you're using some kind of security system that will ensure that you've got this on lock. And it can be frustrating. I know it can be, but you want to get those things worked out so that you and your content, you and all of your resources, all of your business assets are protected. Slow down to speed up. You certainly don't want to have anything hacked. You certainly don't want to have anything taken down. And this is so important to understand that this should be part of your business, no matter what type of business that you are in. Okay, just a couple more, and then we're going to go to our last break. How did we go so fast on this show? The next thing is that you want to look at your branding of your business. How is your business branded? Really, let's look at this from a very wide perspective. Going back to what I had said in the first or second segment, I can't remember, where we were talking about all of your resources and where you want to focus. You want to be able to put all of that under a brand. Do you have this branded? Do you have your business branded in a way that makes sense, that's going to actually set you up for growth? I had my original website was Inspired Choices, and I have Inspired Choices Network. That's a different business arm of the business. But my personal site was always Inspired Choices since 2008. And this past year, I updated all that because that was no longer fully my brand. And so my brand really is me. And so my new website is my name, ChristineMcIver.com. And that really moved me forward in my brand. And that branding is now what is going to build for me with my personal coaching, with my business coaching, with the personal items that I'm servicing with people and clients. That's going to really help to lift me up for the future. That's going to be in place to really be secure in my branding. So you want to look at what have you got out there and where do you have all this branding? Have you looked at all the places where you store your branding, all the social media profiles that you have out there? Do you have all of that updated? Is that something that you need to have either hire somebody to clean that up, or do you need to take that time to really go through everything and give it a nice clean sweep? Think of it like spring cleaning. That's a big, big piece to your strategic planning is your branding. And your branding also includes, the content and the thought leadership that you are creating. Does what you're creating, does that fall under that? Sometimes it'd be fun to do this or it'd be fun to do that, but then you want to come back and say, okay, does that make sense? Does that make sense as part of my brand, a part of what I want to be putting out there in the world, part of what I want to be known for? And if that's a yes, I want you to think about doing that for the next 5 years. Is that something that you would confidently say, absolutely, I will be doing this in 5 years? If you get a hesitation on that, that's where you want to do some real deep evaluation and some real deep thinking about it, because that may not work for you as part of your brand. I did that. I would try something new, and that was okay. It was in the beginning of the business, but then it was time to really look at this and say, does this make sense? Does this part of my brand, is this part of my growth strategy or not? Or is this just a fun one-off? And yeah, it led me to some other things, but then I can see now that there was a couple of things that I did that absolutely was not part of my brand. And this was before I was doing the strategic planning. Okay. We are up to our last break. I might need to come back and do a second show on this. I possibly will take this up next week, but stick around, my friends. I still have more I want to share with you. Again, Christine at ChristineMcIver.com. Comment wherever you are. And if you're enjoying this show and you'd like to share it with somebody, please go over to iTunes and give us a 5-star review so that other people can see this content. So this rises in all the noise that's out there in the world to support other people who may be struggling with their business as well. I would be incredibly grateful. All right, you're listening to Inspired Choices. I'm your host, Christine McIver, on the Inspired Choices Network. We'll be right back.
Many of us make choices based on our past experiences or based on what others believe. What would our lives be like if we made our choices based on what we desire for our futures? When you join the Inspired Choices show with business optimization expert Christine McIver, you'll be provoked to look at what is true and what you know, but may not choose, that requires your attention. Christine does not hold back. She brings all her expertise to every show. Are you ready to create and live the life you truly desire? Listen for Inspired Choices every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 7 p.m. Central, 6 p.m. Mountain, and 5 p.m. Pacific on InspiredChoicesNetwork.com.
Are you a subject matter expert? Are you here to share your expertise with an audience waiting to hear from you in only the way you can deliver? Are you ready to have your voice amplified across the airwaves? Inspired Choices Network has a global radio platform streaming to millions of people across the world. Professionally produced and supported by an accomplished team every step of the way, you can broadcast from anywhere in the world, knowing your voice matters, and we ensure it is delivered with ease and efficiency. Eager to hear your message, the world awaits. Contact us today to become an Inspired Choices Network radio host. Email become a host at inspiredchoicesnetwork.com.
This is the Inspired Choices Show with business optimization expert Christine McIver. To participate in the program, join our live studio audience in our chat room at inspiredchoicesnetwork.com. You can also make the choice to ask or comment by email by sending to Christine at inspiredchoices.ca. Now, back to the program.
Welcome back, my friends. There is still so much that I want to share with you about optimizing your business for 2025. I don't want to rush you. I don't want to overwhelm you. I want to invite you into more. So I'm going to share with you until the end of the show, and then we're going to circle back to this topic next week. Okay, we're going to continue it. We're really going to dive into more and more of the details. One of the really important pieces in your strategy planning is, what are you doing to give yourself the visibility that you want to have in the world? What is it that you are bringing out to the world that you're doing consistently to elevate your expertise? Because to be someone that is being sought for their expertise, you need to be bringing yourself out there. One of the things, obviously, that's part of my plan, my strategy, is having my own weekly show, which is a live radio show, podcast, and TV. So it's a large production. Doing this weekly, what that does for me is it continues to have me hone my skills. It has me tap in what's important in the world to bring out to my listeners. It also helps me to create content. That content helps to feed my clientele. It helps to feed my marketing plan. And it also helps me to grow my expertise for the world. Now, I was speaking to someone today, and they said, well, one of the things, so she was considering whether she would like to have her production come over here to the Inspired Choices Network. So I have conversations with lots of people that are considering that. And one of the things that she said was that, she's on lots of podcasts. And I said, okay, well, that's great. But does being on each of these podcasts, does that make sense for you to leverage your business? And I went on to say, what I mean is have you done some research with that individual? Does that individual's, are they marketing the program post-production? Are they even pre-posting, doing some marketing? Are their listeners part of your strategy? Are they the type of people that would be looking for you and looking for your content? Because if you're taking your time and your energy and you're going out, and a lot of people believe this, let me get on as many podcasts as I can, that means nothing. I'm sorry, I'll argue with anybody on that one. That means nothing. You are wasting your time if you are going to locations where people are not interested in your content. To be able to say I was on 100 podcasts this month means absolutely nothing. That does not translate into profit. You need to be strategic about your time, and you need to be strategic around where you're taking your content. The same, even more, can be said if you have your own production and you're bringing guests on. Lots of people say, but I like talking to people. I like talking to people. Okay, but if it's the Christine McIver show and I'm bringing on guest after guest after guest, it's actually not my show. I'm interviewing everybody else and they're the highlight of the show. I'm not. Think about this, my friends. What are you doing to elevate yourself? What are you doing with your content and your time with your content? Are you bringing it to the group, to the community that is looking for it? We're just about out of time. I know this has been a lot. Please go back and listen to this again. Make some notes. It will be huge for you and your business. And reach out to me. I'd love to have a conversation. I'd love to, even in just 30 minutes, give you some ideas on what could support you in growing your business. Because I know that business can be and should be pleasurable. When you're showing up happy and you enjoy what you're doing, things go much, much easier for you, your clientele, your family, and most especially your body. Let's start to have some real joy in our lives and in our businesses, not dread sweating trying to make an almighty dollar, right? We want to be able to do it and do it in a way that brings us joy and brings us happiness. There's lots more I want to share, so do come back next week. Again, you're listening to Christine McIver. Email me, Christine at Inspired Choices. No, Christine at ChristineMcIver.com. See? Change. Got to get it in there. And remember, until next week, you can always make another choice. Take good care, my friends. Thank you for being with me tonight. Bye for now.
Thank you for choosing to listen to Inspired Choices Show. Christine McIver will return next Wednesday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 7 p.m. Central, 6 p.m. Mountain, and 5 p.m. Pacific on InspiredChoicesNetwork.com. We hope you'll join us. Until then, be willing to choose what you really desire. This is your life, making the choices that bring you all that you